Good evening, y'all. I'd now like to welcome the governor from the Lone Star State that is home to Austin, the fastest growing tech city in the country. His state, my state, scored highly on the Innovation Scorecard, thanks to right-to-work legislation, business-friendly tax policies, and a modest job and small business growth. Texas enjoys fast internet speeds and almost 1 million person technology workforce. In 2015, over $1.4 billion in venture capital investment and more than $15 billion in R&D investment was made in Texas. The state has a high number of college students receiving STEM degrees and a model e-cycling law. Please welcome to the stage my governor, Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
Well, thank you for the warm welcome, and Dan, thank you for the introduction. Oddly enough, I had to come all the way from Texas just to meet one of my constituents in Dan. But learning about what he does, frankly, the award should be going the other way. I want to thank you for what you're doing, creating jobs in the great state of Texas. It's people like you that make Texas the best state for doing business. Just the Texans applauded. But here's the deal. Think about this. I saw my friend Governor Ducey talk to you. I want you to know there's only one governor here tonight. If you're thinking about moving, you need to come to Texas. Now, I realize that I'm kind of the last speaker for the evening. And so I'm going to employ a lesson that I learned in 2 jobs ago. The job before my current job, I was the Attorney General in Texas, and before that, I was a Supreme Court Justice in the state of Texas. One thing I did as a Supreme Court Justice is I would go out and talk to continuing legal education seminars about the size of this room. One evening, I was speaking to this group of lawyers, or actually I was the next speaker. There was someone already up on stage, and just like I was waiting back here, I was waiting on that day. I kind of wanted to get a feel for how things were going. So I pulled up alongside a lawyer, and I asked him how things were going. He said, well, things are going pretty good so far, but our next speaker is one of those long-winded judges, and you know how that goes. I said, well, do you have any idea who I am? He said, no, I have no idea. I said, well, I'm Judge Greg Abbott, and I'm the next speaker. Well, you could tell he was a quick-witted lawyer because he looked back at me and said, well, do you have any idea who I am? I said, no, I have no idea. He said, great, I'm out of here. The point is, I know you want to be out of here. So let me make just a couple of quick points. One is to tell you what you're all wondering. Why is the governor from Texas in a wheelchair? You know, I get that from people who live in Texas who had no idea. Believe it or not, I had just graduated from law school and moved to Houston, Texas, where I had taken a job. One day, as I was studying for the bar exam to become a licensed lawyer, I took a break from study and went out for a jog. And while I was out jogging, a huge oak tree crashed down onto my back, fractured my vertebrae and my spinal cord, leaving me immediately paralyzed. Some people are shaking their heads wondering, how slow was that guy jogging to get hit by a falling tree? But you know, it was after that I went on to become a Supreme Court Justice and the Attorney General and now Governor. And how cool is it that a person lives in a state where a young man's life can literally be broken in half, and yet he can still rise up and be governor of that great state. That is the kind of place Texas is. It's because of something that those who have been through business realize themselves. And that is that our lives are not defined by the ways in which we are challenged. Instead, we define our lives by the way we respond to the challenges we face. You all have countless challenges in your battles to create a better industry. And frankly, Gary, I've been very informed tonight to learn about all the challenges you face. And I strongly support my congressman from Texas to get rid of the trolls. No more patent trolls in the state of Texas. And Cory Booker made a good comment also. He actually made several good comments. But one, he pointed out the way in which technology truly can transform the lives of those who are disabled. It's really stunning to realize that it does create an even playing field. And ironically, there is a parallel between those who are in wheelchairs and the entire technology industry. You have a need to find new ways to access speed. You also need to have barriers in your way removed so you can make progress to where you need to go. That identifies who I am. And it is that mindset that causes me to focus on developing a state that will elevate technology so that, Gary, we will not be one of the champions. Texas is never happy being with a group of other states. You set the standard, and I will assure you, Texas will be the champion for technology in the future. Now, I could understand if some of you may be mystified by that comment because I realize a lot of you may think of Texas as an energy state, and we are, but we're so much more. If I could, let me ask you a pop quiz. Which state in the United States leads the nation in exporting technology? Now, because I'm here asking that question, you probably are going to come up with a different answer had it been Gary asking the question. Because a lot of people would think that it would have been California or Massachusetts or New York or some other state. But the fact is, for the past 3 years, Texas has been the #1 state in the United States of America for exporting high technology. And there's a reason for that. The reason is because of all of those issues that you've been talking about that propel the businesses that CTA represents. Texas has patented that framework. We believe in low taxes. We do more than believe in it. We ensure you have low taxes in Texas. We have no personal income tax, no corporate income tax, and we just slashed the business franchise tax by 25%, leading all states in the nation in tax cuts this last legislative session. The second thing, we also understand the need for litigation reform, and what you're talking about with regard to patent trolls is just the latest version of what we're seeing concerning litigation reform. Texas led the nation in reforming its litigation system going back to the 1990s, ensuring that those who do business in the state of Texas are going to be dealing with a reasonable as opposed to an extortionist litigation system. The third thing, you need fair and predictable regulations. You don't need government running your business. We all know that bureaucrats either here in Washington, D.C., Austin, Texas, or Sacramento, or name the capital, they don't know how to run your business as well as you do, which is why we focus on streamlining permits, making them faster to attain, and make regulations more easily understood. Another thing that we probably lead the nation on, and those are the right to work laws that you all have made reference to, ensuring that Texas is not going to be hijacked by unions, but instead Texas is going to be led by the type of innovation that CTA represents. Now also, this structure that has made businesses so profitable in the state of Texas is exactly why we are seeing businesses like Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Oracle, and so many others either start in Texas or expand in Texas. Just a couple of months ago, Oracle announced an expansion of a 27-acre campus in Austin, Texas. Apple is about to finish off its second largest campus in the entire world in Austin, Texas. There are so many others in Austin, Texas, but interestingly, we have more tech workers in Dallas and Houston rather than in Austin, Texas. But it's not just the large companies, smaller companies also. One example is a company named LiveOps. LiveOps is one of the world's leading cloud customer service companies. LiveOps moved its headquarters from Silicon Valley to the state of Texas. And the CEO explained why. The CEO explained that the difference between Silicon Valley and the state of Texas is like night and day. He said that the business climate is so much better. He said the crime rate is so much lower. And he said the schools were so much better. Now, some of you may find that hard to comprehend also. I want you to know what we're doing on schools. In higher education, there are probably more doctorate degrees from engineering and electrical engineering coming from the state of Texas than any other state. We just created a new program this last session called the Governor's University Research Initiative that will completely transform innovation as we go forward. We have the ability now to provide matching grants to our colleges and universities so they can attract the best and brightest STEM-based educators from across the United States of America. And we are seeing people apply who otherwise would be going to Princeton, to Harvard, to Stanford, choosing universities in Texas instead. There is this massive triangle that you can envision in Texas with Dallas being at the apex, Houston being in one corner, San Antonio in the other, and go right back up to Dallas. Mark my words, 10 or 20 years from now, you will not know Texas as an energy state. You will know that triangle as the innovation triangle in the United States of America. And the reason for that is because of the other things that we're doing in education. In early education in high school, think about this. The new numbers came out about high schools. Texas has the #1 ranked public high school in America. We have 3 of the top 10 more in the top 50 than any other state. And we're beginning our students as early as kindergarten, focused on STEM-based education initiatives. The truth is that the future agenda for CTA in the next decade will be led by tech-based students getting their degrees in Texas today. I want you to know, Gary, that Texas is very proud to be among the states receiving this award. We're proud to join with you in helping to advance technology in the United States of America. Count on Texas continuing to be the most friendly state possible when it comes to advancing technology in the future. Thank you all so very much. God bless you all.